Unscripted.
We're sort of getting into this weird situation where if you own both an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5, it might get a little bit harder to see which version of a game you might actually want to play. And I think that's starting to be a bit of the issue with a lot of people right now. And I don't see that kind of coming to a close anytime soon, to be honest with you, because it looks like when it comes to like a performance situation, PS5 is going to pretty much keep winning those because they keep doing higher resolution on the Xbox Series X. So it comes down to which would you rather have, slightly higher native resolution or better performance. And that's not the only thing we have to think about, right? We also have to think about the intangibles, like would you rather play with the Xbox controller? Would you rather use like a DualSense controller that's specifically tailored to that game? And I think that that's something that a lot of people are starting to kind of come in line with as well. Now, this is very interesting because I wanted to talk about a comparison video that came out, and I think it's pretty interesting to me personally, but I wanted to hear what everybody else thought, just to kind of get the idea of, you know, what these developers are doing with these next-gen consoles and how amazing this is. But again, we're going to have to get started. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you very much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and that means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help out a small little crappy channel like mine, the best way to do it, a simple like. It means a lot to me personally, but it's super free and easy for you guys to do, so please continue to do that and support the channel. You know, shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. Hey, we're getting there. You know, it takes a while when you start over to do anything, but I'm really enjoying kind of doing that, and it's turning out pretty well. I'm really happy with the content. I'm really happy with the interaction and stuff like that, so much love to each and every one of you. Now, it's very interesting to me because there's a couple of different instances of Marvel's Avengers, and this is such an interesting topic, and I can't wait to talk about it. So here's what I wanted to talk about. So Avengers, right? Like, this is a game probably many of you, maybe you don't even like the game or whatever, but it got its next-gen update yesterday. Okay, so runs at a slightly higher resolution on Xbox Series X, slightly better performance and load times on PlayStation 5. Weird, right? And that's not even the end of the discussion. So because it's so strange, because there is one big instance where, or a couple of big things that really give PlayStation the advantage, in my opinion, and I want to get into that. But first, let's cover this a little bit. Marvel's Avengers, obviously, with the current gen upgrade, now live on both Sony and Microsoft consoles. Add a new comparison videos that has been shared online today, shows some details on these new versions of the game. Now, according to the video put together out here, and I will link this article, which has the link to that as well, the variable 4K 60 FPS mode, with the most differences between the current gen version, is this mode. The Xbox Series X version runs at a higher dynamic resolution, 1836p, as opposed to the 1920 by 2160p of the PlayStation 5 version in the more demanding areas of the game. On the other hand, the PlayStation 5 version seems to have a slightly more stable frame rate in all modes and faster load times. The Marvel's Avengers versions have two display modes, 4K 30, which is 1440p on the Series S, and some improved settings, or variable 4K at 60 frames per second at 1080p on the Series S. Now, the 4K 30 mode has slight improvements in reflections, textures, particles, draw distance, and shadows. In 4K 30 mode, they all experience some small drops in resolution, although they keep the target set most of the time, especially the Series X. In the frames per second mode, for the first few minutes of the game, the PS5 resolution varies between 2160 and 1440p, but as soon as you get to the Quinjet and start missions with more open-loaded spaces, the usual resolution becomes dynamic of 2160p, while on Xbox Series X it stays dynamic 1836p. In this case, the clear advantage is on Xbox. In the FPS mode, Series X maintains a higher draw distance, slightly better loading times on PS5. The frame rate is slightly better on PS5 as well. So again, going by this, you have to look at it and go, well, slightly better resolution on Xbox, while load times and actual performance are better on the PlayStation 5. Also, they put in haptic feedback and uses for the DualSense here, so you have to take that into consideration. Now, here's where it gets even trickier. The next-gen update to download the entire game is 107 gigabytes on Xbox Series X. 107. while only 74 gigs on the PS5. And this is thanks to cracking technology that really kind of takes super advantage of what's going on with this compression technology and stuff like that. So this is pretty incredible, to say the least. And I for one, was kind of dumbfounded to see such a huge disparity, but we're going to continue seeing this as we go along. To coincide with the release of Hawkeye DLC, Marvel's Avengers Next-Gen versions are now officially available. Both Xbox and PlayStation gamers can now visit their respective storefront to redeem to the free Marvel's Avengers Next-Gen upgrade. On PlayStation 4, it should be available directly for the PS4 version. As for how large these games are, well, the Xbox Series, you're looking at roughly whopping 107 gigs. The PS5 is more than last gen, but it's clocking in at 74 gigs. To compare, the Xbox One version is 58 gigs, while the PS4 version is 74 or 64 with all current updates. Seems that the PlayStation 5 of the next-gen game is once again flexing the compression technique known as cracking, as the file size is nearly 30 gigs less than the Xbox Series X. Now, PlayStation gamers should at least be happy with that, especially considering the console doesn't support expansion drives just yet. So, for those unaware, if you haven't been known, you can look at some of the next-gen features. 4K native with 60 frames per second support, faster loading, higher resolution textures, improved heroics and armor destruction, screen space reflections, contact aware sharpening, higher resolution translucency, improved ambient occlusion, improved texturing, spatial audio haptic feedback exclusively on the PS5, which I think is really cool. Again, this is all very cool stuff. But again, it doesn't even just end there, right? Because you also have to take into consideration that PlayStation is eventually getting exclusive Spider-Man character in missions that's exclusive to the platform. So really it takes it into this whole kind of uncharted world where you have to take into consideration the controller and, resolution, performance, just so many different things, characters, file size, right? Like, there's so many different things that we can take into consideration that it really is kind of funny to see how that's going to be and how long that's going to last. But yeah, it really changes the game so much more than this generation than previous generations, because like I said, what we're seeing is pretty much unprecedented in terms of what developers have been able to do with the platform and stuff like that. So which one do you want to play? I think that's something that a lot of people are going to probably question themselves. Listen, it's funny because I actually own this game on both, and it's just very interesting for me personally because I know not everybody's going to do that, but we still see a situation where people go, oh, well, which one should I buy? Now, the funny thing is I was gifted the game on PlayStation 4 originally, and I started it, but I didn't really play it that much because I was waiting for the PlayStation 5 version. Obviously, I wanted it on PlayStation because of the Spider-Man stuff. Then I had credits on Xbox, and it was on sale for $29. So I bought it on Xbox as well, just in case I had some friends or something that maybe wanted to play it there. So again, I could play it either way, but for me, I more tend to lean towards the PlayStation just because of the DualSense usage and the ability to have better performance, as well as the Spider-Man content. And it is a bit smaller in terms of size on space and things like that. So I was actually able to fit that in on my PlayStation 5 without deleting anything, where on my Xbox Series X I had to move some things around, even though technically you have more space there. But yeah, it is going to be very interesting to see how people decide to play this. I would assume that most people probably just play it on PlayStation. I just feel like that's probably going to be the easier way or whatever. But at the same time, who knows? Play it wherever you feel comfortable. I think the game looks great. No matter where you choose to play it. I think that's going to be just basically on us and depends on how we kind of see it. So let me know how you guys think about this kind of stuff. Do you find it a little bit strange that there's so many different reasons to choose one over the other? You know what I'm saying? Usually it was just oh, well, which one do you have? But now it's just so many different things go into deciding that it makes it sort of interesting. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Please Please let me know what you think and sound off in the comment section, or hit me up on Twitter at @the_Crapgamer, Xbox Live, MOH space Crapgamer, PSN just Crapgamer. And as always, you know what? I just love hearing from you guys, and I know that it's a slow burn trying to rebuild the channel, but I appreciate your guys' patience and stuff like that. So thank you very much for rocking out with me. Please have a fantastic day. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Take care of one another. Game on, my friends. Game on. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.